Hello everyone, welcome back to the Watchalong. Sorry for the delay, had a few technical difficulties as usual, but we're good to go. And let's see what we can get in this session. With Leclerc going fastest in pretty much every other session, or every session. FP2, I think he definitely was fastest. FP1, I think he was fastest. Although the Red Bulls were looking pretty quick this weekend. McLaren, meant to be the fastest car on track right now, although we'd probably still back them for a race. Not looking too quick yesterday. Now everybody's going to dial their engines up and we'll be ready to go. We are just under 10 minutes into the session. No red flags, believe it or not. But a few cars have been out, not really setting laps, but they have got some... sorry, what am I saying? They have got some mix of tyres on right now, which is good to see. As I quickly hand it over to Zingy. Zingy, I don't know if you saw any of practice yesterday, but who do you think is going to go fastest?
Fortunately, I wasn't there for practice, but I seen the Red Bulls were actually quite quick in FP1, I think it was. So maybe they can come back this weekend, but I have my doubts considering how fast our McLaren is. It's clearly the fastest car in race trim, although Red Bull can be fast in qualifying. If Max Verstappen really pushes, I don't see a reason as to why McLaren can't win this race. They're just totally dominant at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did get an Orlando win or an Oscar Piastri win. It'll be, I think, when it comes to that, it's going to be Lando as the team have apparently said that they're going to benefit Lando now, but you know what McLaren's like, so who knows. It may be Charles Leclerc winning, but he was also complaining earlier on in the session about just drivability issues, I think, and so it's all up in the air at the moment. Like, it doesn't look, no one looks extremely comfortable around Baku. There's been a lot of complaints, and it's a very close circuit. You know this, so you never know who's going to win, who's going to get on pole, and I don't know who's going to have a chance.
Yeah, for sure. Just to be corrected, Max Verstappen actually topped the FP1 time, then Lewis Hamilton followed by Sergio Perez, with Charles Leclerc actually in P9, but in FP2 it changed it quite a bit. As Charles Leclerc was on top. Sergio Perez to P2 ahead of Max Verstappen with Lewis Hamilton in P3. So, yeah, Max Verstappen was in P6 in the end for that session. So, everything's changing. Norris wasn't up the order because they had a bit of a qualifying issue or a qualifying simulation issue as they were not blocked, but blocked on their simulation by Gasly, which meant that they couldn't really put a competitive lap time in, which is a bit of a shame because we can't really see the McLaren's pace. But for the other teams, it does mean that they have a great opportunity to be able to have an advantage over the strongest car on the grid, which is obviously good for them. Now, looking down the order, Perez currently on top, although I don't think anybody set a lap time at this stage of the session. They've just gone and done sector times to put some rubber down, I guess. No one else is out, but Ricardo has just left the pit lane, and we'll see what the RB can do. They did a good job in FP1. In FP2, they were kind of a little bit further down. I think they were beaten by their teammate eventually, but managed to better the teammate in the first session, which was good. Neither of them have crashed, which is of course a plus. Ricardo having, I think it was a terrible time in 2019, crashing into the wall, but he is a winner around here as well. So he's got mixed emotions, I guess, mostly positive. On the hard tyre, which is going to be very easy to make mistakes on. So that's something to watch out for. We've got Norris, both Saubers also out on track. Norris is on the soft, so I'm looking forward to see what pace he can do around here. Although it's still a bit too early, 47 minutes on the clock. Later on, we will definitely get some qualifying runs, I think.
Yeah, well, Lando may be just testing out the soft tyres in a race trim. We know McLaren are very good on their tyres. Not as good as Ferrari were last time in Monza, but we've seen that McLaren can take their tyres a long way in some tracks, more than others, and it looks so. I think him and Leclerc, who have just came out of the pits, are going to just try and see how the soft tyres go for a stint. and see if they're a viable race tyre for the race, which they usually aren't. Usually they get a quarter of the way in and then just drop off really badly. So it's going to be very difficult for them to get any use of the tyre. But around Baku, it's a street circuit. It's very tight to the wall. There's a lot of traction zones, so I'm unsure what that's going to do to the tyres.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to require a lot of concentration for sure by each driver to be able to keep it on track without binning it into the wall. We saw Franco Colapinto and Charles Leclerc both have issues yesterday, as Colapinto crashed at the very end of the session after setting a good lap, and I was just praising them, and then all of a sudden it was all yellow. But Leclerc going incredibly quickly in FP1. I think he was at the top of the timings at the time on a medium tyre when he hit the wall. It meant that he had damage and got it fixed for the second practice session, but didn't really feel that the car was right at the time. Got it fixed later on as they went into the pit lane for a bit, and then it was good. We've got a yellow flag on a screen, but I don't see where the problem is right now. I think it's absolutely fine. It's actually Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, I think Ocon spun out of the last corner, turn 16, 17. Oh, nope, he's stopped.
So more reliability issues, it looks like.
Yeah, the brakes are overheating as well. It looks so he just can't get the car back into gear and around again because there's no one near him. It looks no, it's not even spun. He's just pulled over. Sorry.
A red flag for that. Okay, fair enough. It is a stationary car in a high-speed part of the circuit. That does mean that both Alpines, in I think every session, have had problems. FP2 is alright because they kind of fixed the issues, but Ocon has now had their second issue of the weekend. I think Gasly was complaining about something at some point. So Alpine really having a really tough time around the circuit, and they weren't even that quick, unfortunately. So this is going to be looking like already a weekend to forget, but I've maybe just jinxed that and they're going to go and win the race. You never know around this circuit. Reliability also for Mercedes. Hamilton was out pretty much all the time yesterday, whereas George Russell, he was stuck in the pit lane. For a little while, that was due to, I think, a power unit issue. They said that their seat was getting pretty hot. There must have been more issues that they've had throughout the last few races. Continue to plague them, but I think they should be good to go now. Whether Russell will be able to put some laps in and show some decent pace, that's a different question. They weren't really able to put some mega quick lap times in compared to their teammate, at least, as they only got some quick runs towards the end, mostly on the hard tyre. But yeah, Esteban Ocon looks like everything's just kind of died. It seems, yeah. Basically, the car just jammed up, I think.
Yeah, the rev just got completely killed, and he just rolls to a halt on the inside of turn 17 there. So I think it's just a reliability issue. And the seat getting hot, maybe some overheating.
Oh, with the
things
Mercedes.
going on there.
So this is.
That's Mercedes.
Yeah,
sorry.
different problem.
Well, either way, I mean, it's not good for Alpine. You say they've had issues every session. I've seen that as well. And for a team who looked really promising midway through the season, it looks as though they're going backwards. Because this reliability around a track like Baku, you want to be there. Because, Aaron, you know, when you've watched old races, anything can happen, anyone can win. And remember, Bottas, he was last in 2017. And he came to get second. So if they can just fix reliability issues, anything can be possible. But you can see Ocon's car there. And the Marshall's trying to just get to it. So, yeah, Alpine in a bit of a rock bike right now. But do you reckon they can fix it for qualifying?
They could definitely fix it for qualifying. Whether they'll be quick, though, I'm not entirely sure. As we saw yesterday, they had a bit of time to get the job done. In a very similar scenario, although Ocon was able to get that one back to the pit lane, I think, if I remember correctly. It seemed to be, if I remember correctly again, an ERS issue, or a battery issue or something like that. Whether that was for Gasly or Ocon, I can't remember, but they would probably have similar issues as they are the same car. But that is our first red flag of the session, which we didn't actually get a red flag until... Did we get a red flag in FP2? I don't think we did. I think they're absolutely fine. Anyway, we move on. No one has actually set a time lap yet. It's just a few best sectors as they get warmed up. You can see that they've not really had chances to properly set any laps, and we are 20 minutes in, effectively, to the session. So 20 minutes is not gone for a lot of the teams, but for some of the teams, they just haven't run at all. That's Williams and also Haas and Mercedes, all just not going out right now. So they don't have any experience. McLaren, one driver hasn't gone out on circuit, or they have actually, but they didn't really get to set a lap. It says on the timings at least. But yeah, not ideal. That car, I hope it can get moved pretty quickly. It's not like it's got debris to get rid of. It is simply a crane job, I assume. I don't know if they'll be able to roll it back anywhere, but it's going to be a bit of a distance because it wasn't really in a super easy place to roll away, although it looks fairly flat from the TV coverage, so they might have had an alright time. But yeah, as we wait, we'll have a quick look. Even though it's not timed, Paris tops the times. So we have actually got purple sectors, however, from Zhou. In the first sector, Verstappen was purple in the middle sector, and Carlos Sainz was purple in the last sector. The Ferraris still looking quick, and they could be challenging this weekend. If they can get a strong weekend and just keep composure, maybe over McLaren, strategy can come into play in this race, and they could really charge towards the constructors. I think the drivers for Leclerc would be very, very slim. I really wouldn't back him for it. I'd say Verstappen over Leclerc, definitely. But the constructors could still be on for Ferrari. We'll see how that goes in a few races' time, effectively, and it's something to look forward to for tomorrow. Regarding qualifying, however, I think Ferrari should be able to beat a lot of the grid right now. We'll see how it goes for them. But the drivers just kind of sitting in their cars waiting to see if they can go again in a little while. And we see Verstappen, yes, Verstappen was going pretty quickly. Bottas was actually setting some purple segments in the first sector as well, though Zhou was overall fastest in that sector. So it's an interesting situation to look at on the timings, but still no actual set time, which makes it very, very difficult for us to really know what's going on. Now, nothing we can do. We just got to wait and see what happens with all the drivers. But as of now, the red flags come out for Esteban Ocon, if you didn't see that already. And no one set any set times. We've got 38 minutes on the clock, so time is ticking. And it's Azerbaijan Grand Prix circuit, which is not going to be easy if you have no experience, especially in race trim. Qualifying is going to be very exciting. There's going to be a lot of cars pushing. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of cars going into the runoff area and possibly forcing a few drivers to back off on their laps. As I said, it has to be done because of safety reasons. Yesterday I said about this, but it is going to be incredibly frustrating for many drivers, as they won't be able to qualify effectively in certain scenarios, but also the red flags will possibly play a factor as well. And I think if red flags come out in qualifying, you are okay to pause the timer, so they should be fine. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, we'll be resuming at 12:54 in about a minute's time, and lots of people are going to be on their way out of the pit lane and ready to go for their next runs in the practice session. Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, Aston Martin, Ferrari, almost everyone, both Red Bulls are on their way out. So yeah, lots of cars all the way rushing to the end of the pit lane and ready for that green light.
Yeah, obviously there's many cars that are going to be wanting to get out. 36 minutes to go. Not actually a lot of time considering how long it takes to do some runs, like race runs and stuff like that. So it will be very difficult, but it looks as though everyone is on that soft compound tyre, so they might be going for a shorter one based on the issues that were happening. Obviously beforehand of the Alpine pulling over to the side and causing that red flag. So I think they're just trying to make the best out of a bad situation here, and maybe just trying to see what it's going to be like for qualifying.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it seems like, compared to yesterday, lots of people not really running on the hard tyre, not being a big fan of it, which is interesting, because I think it's kind of one of a circuit that, you know, strategy will come into play, aggressive strategies can come into play with softs and mediums and stuff like that, and maybe safety cars coming out would force you to go on those tyres, but I thought that maybe a few teams would try and plonk on a set of hard tyres to try and maintain track position maybe, but we haven't really seen that much running, so to go and put the softs on, and a lot of people also on fresh softs this early on in the session, I am very surprised. That being said, putting them on early in the session is not a bad idea, because if there are any more issues, then you've already got that run done. And even though you want to maybe do it a little bit later on, you'll take that risk if you do it later on, and you might not be able to get a simulation in on the soft tyre, whether that be a race simulation or a qualifying simulation. But still, yet to see too much from the hards. Russell was running quite a lot on the hards, although they seem to be having issues, so maybe not too kind of representative of their pace. They were at the back of the pack. Lots of people were on softs, but that Mercedes top 4 car still wasn't able to beat any of the other cars, despite being pretty pacey this season. That hard tyre just proving to be really, really bad, effectively. We've got a few cars out on track. Piastri's going to be the first one to set a time lap, it looks like, unless it's red flagged, of course, again. Then we've got Russell, Stroll, Hamilton and Norris. That's going to be interesting. Aston Martin having a brilliant weekend so far. Lance Stroll was complaining in FP1 and at the start of FP2, but they got their stuff together, and Lance Stroll was actually doing a very good job outpacing Fernando Alonso in the second session. And with their new signing, it's going pretty well right now. They just need to make sure that they keep it all together, keep the composure, and keep Lance happy, because at the start of the session, as I said, Lance was really not happy, being quite vocal. In the morning, I think he was saying, "This is not a car," which was quite interesting to hear, because he is driving a car. But yeah, not happy, but still going 5th fastest. Right now, we'll get the moment of truth to see if they're going to be able to once again replicate that lap time.
Yeah, Oscar Piastri was reporting signs of rain, I think, just coming down that the front straight there. So the engineer said it wouldn't affect them at all, or much at all. So it's a bit interesting, you know, there's rain on the horizon perhaps, and that could really affect qualifying if it does get a bit wet. You can see them struggling for traction. I mean, this is a very high traction track, so it's to be expected, but do you reckon the rain that could be coming would affect the drivers that much, even if it's not much rain at all?
Yeah, definitely. We're on slick tyres around a slippy circuit. It's a cold surface. I say that it's 31 degrees, but it's still a fairly cold surface, a dusty surface compared to most places. It's covered by trees and shadow, which is why it makes it a bit cold. You can see the rain in that final sector, actually. Just a drop, it looked like, unless that was dirt. We'll find out in a few moments' time if other cars are also affected by it, but really in the slow speed sections in the middle part of the circuit, the downforce will definitely play a factor, but a less of a factor compared to other places on the circuit, and then you're kind of just looking for mechanical grip, and if it's raining in the mechanical grip sections of the circuit, you are going to be in a very bad position. Oscar Piastri sets the first lap of the session. I do apologise that the timing seems to be all of a sudden very delayed. We did sync it up before, but oh well, it's had its issues. Now Lance Stroll goes and sets a lap time ahead of Russell, and then Hamilton will immediately beat that on the screen in a moment's time. Now I'm going to quickly make sure everything's synced. We're going to keep talking to you. I just need to quickly double check, and then we'll see how it goes, and then we will be back with the actual live stream in a few moments time. But yeah, the Ferraris on their way out as well, looking very quick, but Verstappen currently fastest, so yeah, I think Red Bull can still do good here.
The Williams obviously been very quick in a straight line, and with their recent upgrades, seem to be just doing very well in general. Taking some points home in Monza, I'm sure it was. And you can see coming up to the line, I think Albon's going to get first place again here in a practice session. There he goes. Albon 8 tenths ahead of Verstappen, gaining 4 tenths in a sector that you just go in a straight line. So perhaps, do you reckon Williams are running a bit less downforce than everyone else?
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know, people keep trying to latch on about the fact that they are very fast in a straight line, but that is, I don't mean to sound sassy, but so last year. It's not the same case anymore for them, unfortunately, if you're a Williams fan. It does mean that they have a bit more of a well-rounded car. I think really they're benefiting from the floor everywhere else on the circuit, but obviously in the straights it seems like they would have maybe a lower downforce setup, although he has gone purple in the middle sector as well. So really the first sector is very high speed. The third sector is even more high speed, which is unusual for a circuit. Usually the first sector is the highest of speeds. But then the middle sector is absolutely crazy. So yeah, corners everywhere, corners galore, mechanical grip, and like I said, mechanical grip, the downforce on the wings kind of goes away a little bit, and it is mostly about the floor and then the mechanical grip on the tyre, which is where they seem to be kind of solving a few issues. Colapinto's not done a too bad of a job to get right behind, but they are still 8 tenths behind. They do have a little bit of, not trauma, but mind games to try and battle. As they battled the wall a little bit too hard, they have to get through that and try and improve a little bit more, but they were actually very close to their teammate previously, and they've just gone and set an improvement lap by 2 tenths to try and catch up to Alex to see if they can get a bit further up. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for them. I say that, it's actually not an improvement from Colapinto, that was just a bit of a graphic bug on a different screen. Hulkenberg improves and Piastri will beat them immediately.
Yeah, the Williams not looking too bad. As you say, Piastri goes second fastest. You mentioned that Colapinto is 8 tenths behind, and with that crash earlier on in the weekend, it's going to be very difficult for him to pick up confidence. It's not like a track where if you make a mistake, you can go wide onto the grass, onto the runoff, and just go. You go wide here, you're ending up either in someone's house or in the wall. It's not very fun for the drivers. You need to keep fully concentrated at all times. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. I wonder what that could be for. I think it might just be someone making a mistake, perhaps. There's no red flag
First
thrown out
corner,
just yet.
that'll be
First corner.
Hulkenberg stationary. Behrman, sorry. That might be a reliability issue if they've stopped on pit exit or they're in the runoff at the first
Or
corner.
they're just waiting, maybe.
Yeah, well, they've still not moved and there's plenty of space for them to go. So
I don't know what that would be then.
still
We see
stationary.
Hamilton. Oh, that's red. Red flag.
Interesting. So, okay,
oh, yeah.
so the rain is, there's a short patch of it, a very small patch of it, but it's moving across the circuit. Oliver Behrman has course, the red flag is that
Oh,
damage. It is a bit of
yeah.
a shunt. They've tried to back out of turn 1, it looks like, but then they backed out too late and ended the session early, which is a hell of a shame and exactly what you don't want to do because you don't even get to make the corner. So Oliver Bearman looking so quick in the practice sessions yesterday, being incredibly close to Nico Hülkenberg, proving that they should be in Formula 1, has now got incredibly close to the barrier, incredibly close to Hülkenberg's performance in Zandvoort with the walls, and unfortunately that's going to be their end to the session probably. I doubt they'll be able to get that fixed. Obviously the car's got to go all the way back to the garage. I know the garage is not too far away, but it's got to go through an entire procedure to get there. And then they got to repair it. So that's a front wing. That's definitely for front suspension. I'm not sure about rear suspension. I think it might have taken a little bit of a knocking as well. Just see, yep, they really didn't do the best job to try and avoid that barrier. They backed out way too late. They should have probably just tried to make the corner and hoped that it worked, but I don't know. Yeah, that's not good.
Intentions were good, but the outcome was bad. I think that's one way to put it. He's
Yeah.
trying to save the car, and as you say, it's just too late. And there's not enough grip for him to turn that quickly with the rain coming down, and he just hits the wall. Thankfully, it's only front left damage and a bit of a wing, which you can always repair quite quickly, so you should be fine. So I wouldn't be too worried if I was Bearman. They'll get the car fixed for qualifying. He'll be disappointed, of course. This is only his second F1 weekend, and he wants to impress. That mistake's going to cost him, but yeah, he'll get the car fixed for qualifying. And if he can just recompose himself, like Cole Pinto's trying to do, he should be fine for qualifying.
Yeah, he was saying how he's excited to finally get a full weekend underway, and he's never done 3 sessions. He's only ever done FP1 or FP3 and qualifying the race. Now, he has confirmed that he's only ever done 2 sessions. Now he's only ever done an FP1 and an FP2 as well. So, unfortunately, not setting a lap. They will be P20. They managed to do 2 laps, but none of them timed. So if you really want to argue it, then yes, he has completed a little bit of an FP3 session here today. But yeah, that car has been removed off the track pretty quickly. Hopefully we can get a green flag at some point soon, but it does mean that once again we're going to lose some time. Now, good job for a lot of cars that went on that soft tyre, because they've at least got that soft tyre running from earlier, of course, but it does mean that there's barely any time to really go for a different tyre. So we're just going to see another set of a set of softs come out and everybody just try and run that tyre again.
Yeah, I mean, is there really a point of running the mediums or hards? I mean, you mentioned that the hards weren't good, and the mediums were only 23 minutes to go whilst it's raining, and the track grip will be very low. I wouldn't see as to why you'd want to do that to yourself. It just seems like a waste of a tyre.
I guess it depends on what the weather will be tomorrow, because if it's going to be similar conditions, then they might opt to go on an Inter. I don't know.
Enter? You're right?
If it's going to be raining. No, it would be very silly to do at this stage. The rain just isn't enough. But it is clarified or classed as rain right now. We'll be going green flag, not racing, but we'll go green flag once again in about a minute's time, which will be brilliant. And we can finally get underway and see what tyres everybody does come out on, if they've decided to change their mind or if they're going to try and continue on their situation. George Russell having an issue.
About traffic.
Yeah, that's going to be even worse later on for qualifying. I think that's a sneak peek of what's going to happen. Going into turn 15, he had 2 cars ahead of him and immediately had to back out as the 2 cars ahead were just trying to jostle for position themselves, and then all of a sudden you've got a very quick car coming at you and there's not really much you can do. So very unfortunate for practice. Nothing that can happen right now penalty wise, of course, but come qualifying in a few hours time it could change an entire a massive amount. I completely forgot what word to use there, but we're good to go, and hopefully good to go is the McLaren at the end of the pit lane. That would be Lando Norris. We'll see what these guys can do. Alex Albon currently setting the fastest time. Piastri and Hülkenberg did manage to get ahead of Colapinto, Alex Albon's teammate. Will we see Hülkenberg do the hard work now for the rest of the session? Well, he's done a pretty good job so far. I just wondered if he'd maybe go for a different tyre, since that they've only got one car now in the session. Would he just try and do kind of a practice session for both cars? I know you don't really want to share stuff with your teammate, but he's a rookie. He's got one race this weekend, maybe even more if things went really pear-shaped for Kevin Magnussen or even Nico Hülkenberg himself. But, you know, you've not really got too much to lose if you give your rookie teammate you're not even going to be at the same team at next season a little bit of help.
I mean, but you always want to do the best for yourself. I know the team is above any driver, but would you not want to get that practice in yourself so you become more acclimatized to the track? And I understand that.
I think it would all be practice for them as a driver, of course, but I think it would just be practice so that the team can kind of look at the data and give at least both drivers a bit of a chance. Hülkenberg still is the one driving the car, so it wouldn't take anything away from him. He's set this soft tyre run already, but goes out again on that same soft tyre, so it looks like they are maybe looking to do another race sim as they were doing yesterday on this tyre while they have 20 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, just a quick question. Is that rain still coming down? I can't see anything as of now, but...
It says to have stopped. It was only a few moments ago that they said it stopped. It kind of was a very small patch of rain that moved across the track, going from the far end all the way to, I think, the start-finish straight to the pit lane, and has probably passed. So I think they're all good to go. That's why no one's really concerned, and they're immediately going out and not waiting for anything to pass. That being said, immediately going out. Unfortunately, Alpine not out. Behrman is out, but not out on track. Then we've got Alonso in the pit lane, Perez, Verstappen, and Piastri. Whereas everybody else is out on track. It's pretty busy, so if Russell was upset with the traffic earlier on, it could get very, very difficult in a few moments' time. We've got a hell of a mix in the session right now with lap times. Piastri kind of up there as we expect, but Albon, Hülkenberg, and Colapinto are part of the top 5 of Verstappen in P5. The Ferraris not looking as quick so far as I thought they would be in this session, but have they just really not had that much of an opportunity? 6 laps for Leclerc, 6 laps for Sainz. They've actually done a pretty good job compared to Red Bull with 3 laps each, but just still being just as quick as Ferrari effectively.
Oh, there's another yellow flag.
That'll be
Please
Hamilton in turn 3, as they're going slowly, but they're still moving. So it shouldn't be a red flag. I don't know if there'd be debris. They let their teammate go. Hopefully we can see what the situation is from Lewis Hamilton. But it looks like we'll have to wait for that one. But yeah, no red flag. We're all good to go. Norris goes fastest.
Lovely stuff. I thought there'd be another red flag and we'd have to sit for that again, but thankfully not. You see Norris goes fastest. Gasly getting some laps in as well, which is crucial considering the issues they had. Albon, of course, going for another lap, trying to see if he can maybe topple Norris to see the pace of that Williams in the first sector. He is a 10th up, so I know it's only practice 3, but do you reckon that Williams has pace to get into Q3 again this season?
Yeah, I think it can. I mean, this is a circuit where it's not definitely driver-based, but it is a bit more driver-based when it comes to pushing the limits. You know, engine power is going to be massive in that third sector, but really just having big, I'm trying to find the words to use, but big balls in that middle sector is going to be what gains you the lap time. And with what we've seen so far, although in the first practice session Williams weren't really that quick, and Colapinto did manage to beat Albon, it was alright. We've just got a bit of slow-moving traffic, I think, right there. So no real yellow flag for Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz going ahead of Hamilton as well as Leclerc. I think that was Albon also must have overtaken him. Albon looking for a toe on Russell
Look
as they
at
go down the
that.
straight.
That's incredible timing. He's 6 tenths up on Norris. I'm loving this, man. I think Alex Albon can win this weekend. He's so quick, isn't he, Aaron? Oh, never mind. Okay, I'll just be quiet now.
Leclerc has finally did it, and he actually got that without a toe. So once again, absolutely rapid around this circuit, 3 tenths ahead of his teammate who goes up to P3 immediately after. But yeah, Leclerc's just a demon. It's really incredible how he can do this. Really strange how he's so quick. But that's an 8-lap-old tyre, by the way. That was 6-lap-old tyres from Albon, 8-lap-old tyres from Charles Leclerc, but still looking incredibly quick. Max Verstappen right now, he is down in P12 on 5-lap-old soft tyres, looking to try and set maybe a quicker lap time as well if they can. They're going PB in the first sector, but nowhere near Leclerc.
Yeah, Verstappen on a lap now. From what I'm seeing, I don't know, unless I'm just being stupid or what, but from the onboard I can see now, it just doesn't look convincing, really, does it?
No, not too much. We've got some interesting camera shots right there. They're going through the final few corners. We'll get to see the moment of truth into turn 15. This is where it really gets people as they go downhill. They try and go as wide as they can on entry to open up the corner, but it is very dusty on entry, as Charles Leclerc found. Purple middle sector though for Verstappen, so despite what we can see, they are going pretty quickly. Perez also green in the first sector, who was faster than Max Verstappen in FP2, and only a few positions away from Verstappen in FP1, could be very quick as well.
Yeah, coming up to the line, I think he'll get it here. No! He's lost a tenth in the last sector. Leclerc didn't get a toe, did he?
No, he didn't. No time.
So, that's
fresher tyres for Verstappen as well.
Yeah, because you don't gain time with fresher tyres on the straight unless obviously the tyre punctures and you spin off into the wall. But my point is Perez puts it in P1 actually. It's just a bit confusing. You'd expect that Red Bull with the DRS efficiency that they had, that they'd be very quick on the straight. As Piastri's going purple now, the guys try to get some good laps in, and yeah, you'd expect the Red Bull to be much faster than the straight compared to what we've seen at the start of the season and midway through it as well, no?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm excited. I'm excited for Perez. I've probably spoken too soon. I just want to quickly go to this thingy. Who will go fastest? I put a poll up at the start of the live stream. 40% for Leclerc. Then we got 30% for Perez, 20% for Verstappen, and 10% for Norris. So McLaren, nobody's really preying on them right now or betting on them right now. Leclerc and Perez are going to battle it out for the lead as they did in Singapore in 2022. It's going to be a throwback there. It's also Singapore next weekend, so Perez has really got a good few tracks. That being said, Piastri has just gone and stole my beer, and 6.5 tenths ahead of Perez. I don't know what that phrase was, but I was just a bit shocked, I guess.
Right, okay, I think I realised why the times are just tumbling. You know the rain that happened earlier on? I know it wasn't much, but it came across that short finish straight, I think the last corner a bit, and then the first sector mostly. People are going through that first sector, drying up, so the people who are going later are finding, I think they're finding time in that first sector, unless you can see data otherwise, but I'd imagine people to gain a bit of time in that first sector and last. The middle sector should be fine, but... Oh, sorry, radio.
Once again, power unit, it looks like.
Oh, well, that's lovely. George Russell having some more issues with his power unit, which is not something you want to see. P7 at the moment. He's going to try and get a competitive lap in. As Hamilton just comes in, he'll be looking to also get up. There's Fernando Alonso. Goes sixth fastest, 1 second behind there. So, yeah, that Aston Martin not looking good, considering how much the track is now. George Russell was complaining about power unit issues. Mercedes powered cars, with the exception of Williams, are looking at the higher at the moment. next thing. Oh, don't Piastri first.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think more for Russell, it's really a integration thing. They've just got a new power unit, or they've got new power unit components in their car. It's just about integration. They've got to make sure everything's kind of put together, so they can fix any issues that they may have later on. So I don't think it's anything to worry about. All things considered, all the red flags and stuff like that, Russell being P8 is actually a pretty good job. They're ahead of Norris. Obviously, Norris is yet to come out in recent times and set a lap that's probably going to be quite close to their teammate. But yeah, we'll see. Piastri, are they on their way into the pit lane? It looks like they're going across the line, and they set another lap, but it's not going to be an improvement. So they were on fresh tyres to start this run, but it looks like they're maybe just going to try and go lap after lap after lap, unless that was a cooldown lap, and now they're going again to see if they can go even quicker.
Yeah, but we'll just have to wait and see. Russell coming to start his lap, as you said, and to turn one. Let's hope he doesn't have any issues on the braking, because that was it, off throttle and braking, he said, was the issues. But from that first corner, he looks to be fine. I'm not going to speak too soon. Oh, right. Okay, right. Good one, Russell. He's went off at turn 2. I'm jinxing everyone and everything today, so I might just have to be quiet here.
In fairness, he did a very, very nice turnaround and didn't do a heavy Regenithan and completely mess it up and burn the clutch out. So he's all good. He can continue again. But I just realised that the cockpit of the Mercedes, the front bit where the driver looks out of, it's changed a lot. It looks quite nice. I know it won't be for looks; it'll be for aerodynamic purposes. But it's something that I've only just realised. It's quite angular.
Angular.
Yeah.
So, oh,
That'll be a replay.
sorry, that lockup was very scary sounding. And he's complaining about the braking again. So maybe there is issues, and maybe that first corner was just I don't know at this point. It's everything's up in there. I'm not very good when it comes to practice because I say my qualifying.
Not long.
Yeah, but I think that he can't tell until they actually go out for qualifying, and even at that, you can't really see anything because until they actually set their lap times and push it 100%, then you don't really know what's going to happen. Which is a bit of an obvious thing to say, but you'd imagine with practice you're able to see people's paces, but others, it's not like they always turn it up to 11. As we see Hamilton coming through the middle sector. As there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Again, what for? I'm not sure. You'll probably be able to see on the tracker.
Looks like Gasly, so that's on the apex as well, so they might be on the runoff. It would possibly be. Yet to see them move yet, but they've got a few cars on their way, so they do have to make sure that they kind of avoid them. It's going to be Gasly now, I think, getting out of the situation, and they can drive, continue on the circuit. No, it's still stationary. No, they're moving. There you go. We're all fine. Leclerc purple.
Good stuff. Yeah, Leclerc. I mean, from people that are new to the sport, or maybe relatively new, might not know that Leclerc. I'm not going to say that, Aaron. Would you like to say that? Because I don't want to jinx him. How's Leclerc on this track?
He's very good. He's very good in qualifying. Depending on what part of the circuit, he's very, very good. There's a few corners that he may have a few issues at, of course, turn 15, but also the castle section where he had the famous quote. But he is very, very good. He got pole in 2021. He's fastest in 2024, 42.564. Did he get pole in 22? I can't remember, but I know that they had engine issues regardless that prevented them from getting the result that they needed, which was very controversial at the time for the championship, of course. Leclerc doing a very good job. That was when Azerbaijan was a lot earlier in the calendar, of course, as well. Now, Gasly, please don't tell me it's more reliability issues, as they're waiting for a car into the apex. Don't really know if we're actually going to get a replay, but I'll be back in a bit.
Yeah, I was just checking the qualifying results. of 2022, and it's to be confirmed that Charles Leclerc was on pole for that race. In fact, as we see Pierre Gasly going off into the runoff, reversing. Now, if you don't know that reversing in an F1 car, it's good to get back on the track, but I don't believe that it's very good for the engines. It does. I think it makes them overheat quite a lot. So you do not want to be in that reverse gear for long, because it might actually fry the engine. It's unlike the game. It's very, very sensitive. These power units are, of course, powerful, but you need to look after them very much so. As we see Albon on that rubber down track going P5, only a tenth and a bit behind Perez, and it looks as though the mechanics are cheering. So lap, or the competitiveness of the Williams has really stepped up again here at Baku. So Albon doing very well. We've seen Norris coming for the last few corners on a push lap as well, I believe. No, he's on an out lap, sorry, but P13 at the moment. It's not where you'd expect Norris to be. You'd expect him to be in that top 6 at least, getting a toe off the RB there, but Norris needs to find a lap here, and just to see where he's going to end up. I can't lie, I'm talking a bunch of rubbish. I don't know. Norris needs to be pushing here, and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see as he finally gets a bit of a run in. That being said, it's busy out on track, so he might get traffic, although the cars ahead are pretty far away. He's got 2 Saubers up in front, and then he's got a very quick Albon just ahead as well. So yeah, Albon doing a good job, making everyone at Williams very happy. Russell, I didn't realise, has actually gone 3rd fastest in the meantime. Verstappen goes and changes that and makes it P3 himself. So everything is starting to change up as we're in the last 5 minutes of qualifying, and this is where it gets a little bit more energetic and possibly a bit more risky. There could be some big changes that could cause a few people some problems as we cross the line. That is a no, it's not. It's going to be Leclerc out on pit exit again to try and see if they can maybe set some quick lap times once again. But yeah, we'll find out how this one goes. It's going to be Norris pushing to the limit in through turn 15. They're going to be absolutely fine. They didn't really send it massively hard, although I'm not an F1 driver, so I can't really say anything. It looked okay, but still down on the current quickest time. And now that final sector, are they going to be quick enough in a straight line effectively? Because there's like one corner to go through, and then it is just basically straight line speed up to the line. Norris won't have too long DRS open until we'll find out what the lap time's going to be for the other McLaren car. Are they going to be able to beat their teammate? They will, but they're still over 1.5 tenths away from Leclerc, who is so quick, and we're going to get a big issue with Albon and a racing bull, and that is a hell of an impeding moment right there. That could have been a crash.
Yeah, I mean, not ideal from the RB team there, just struggling to get out of the way. I don't blame them. It's very tough, as we see Carlos Sainz getting blocked by a Red Bull, unfortunately. Bit of a flat spot in that tyre as well. I don't know what Red Bull that was, but they eventually got out of the way, but far too late. Let's see if we can see the number coming through here. We can. I'm blind. Is it Perez? It's Perez, yes.
Yeah, that would be Perez.
Wait, Aaron, before you say anything else, the qualifying predictions.
Leclerc, Piastri, Perez.
Okay, Leclerc, Norris, Piastri.
Fair enough. Leclerc's on pole, ladies and gentlemen. We can decide that already. He doesn't need to go out in qualifying. We'll just put him there anyway, because it's pointless, to be honest, around this circuit, to put him on the circuit. All it do is cause a red flag as he goes pole, and then they'll just, yeah, no, I'm joking. Red for Ferrari. Anyway, I need to stop making jokes. A few moments left on the clock. We've made the predictions. We hope you've made yours. Norris and Piastri in a very good situation at the moment. We've got both Mercedes out on track to set their final runs. Are they on fresh tyres? Russell is. Hamilton is. The only cars that aren't on fresh tyres right now is Perez. We've got Verstappen. We've got Leclerc on old tyres. Everybody else is on the fresh tyres. And they're looking to try and get like kind of qualifying runs in, I guess. but it's really, really busy in the last sector as everyone wants to start their lap. That is incredibly busy. Russell goes fastest by just over half a tenth, or half a tenth exactly, sorry.
Yeah, Perez pushing through the middle sector at the moment. It looks as though the car is quite twitchy, but you can see Perez controlling it nicely there. Perez is also someone who is very good around this track, and I see why you didn't discount him in your qualifying predictions. As you say, Russell goes first, but we don't know yet, of course. It's still early days, it's still only practice free. It looks as though is that a blue flag or is that a yellow flag? I'm not sure. But Perez had a bit of a poor middle sector there, maybe those swappers getting to him. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. I just pray that no one's in the wall. You can see it on the track, Aaron. As Perez comes up to the line, it won't be an improvement because he's already 3 tenths down.
Is that the back off?
And there, backed off? No, he's still going. Let's see now. No, it smells off. It's 8 tenths. That would have put him P9. P9 if that was his best lap. So maybe just struggling on those softs, but doing a few laps on them, of course. Carlos Sainz coming through the middle sector. I believe this is the same tyre. He had that lock up on a 10.5 down in the middle sector, but a personal improvement for him. And come up to the line in about 20 seconds time. We'll eventually get to see what the lap time's going to be. But yeah, I think Ferrari have a good car as well. So although I was talking about McLaren being very well, do you reckon Ferrari have also a chance to do something special here?
They are definitely the closest, I think, for McLaren on race pace, as we not only saw in Monza, but we do see here and there incredibly quick and one lap pace as well. Carlos Sainz is no slouch, but Leclerc is just absolutely awesome around this circuit. So yeah, I'm going to be honest, I think maybe Ferrari could even win this Grand Prix. We'll have to see after qualifying and make that prediction. Of course, we did see Hülkenberg go to the runoff. That was what the yellow flag was for. We got Daniel Ricciardo pushing the limits in the final stages of the session, and we will get a few people crossing the line to finish off. Ricciardo will be the first one to cross the line. That is Hülkenberg, of course, on a replay as he goes off the runoff. He doesn't want to cause 2 crashes. Ricciardo crosses the line in P14. That's practice over for them. We've got Zhou. That's going to be P18. Not going to get that many improvements, it looks like. I don't think anyone is really improving massively. Alonso crosses the line. It's all just kind of setting kind of extra laps, effectively. Those kind of qualifying runs have already been done. No real green sectors, it looks like, so I think it's all going to be pretty straightforward. Maybe no, the Williams are not on time lapse right now. I think they maybe, yeah, I don't know, that's an interesting one, but I think that's pretty much going to be the order. We'll wait and see as we cross the line. It looks like the 2 Red Bulls are very close, maybe trying to figure out what a tow would be like. But that being said, Sergio Perez is actually offline compared to where Verstappen is. Verstappen goes fastest in the final sector, but doesn't improve position-wise and just stays where they are. It's into the pit lane for Russell, who is currently fastest, and it doesn't look like he's going to be contested. So he'll be very happy with that one. After having issues before, it's completely switched.
Yep, just the last car going up to the line now. That was Pierre Gasly, 15th. Of course, Ocon and Behrman not getting a time in. Sainz also on a lap, but I think that's just an in-lap. And I think that'll be it for practice 3. Russell first, Leclerc just behind him, and then Norris and Piastri a bit further back. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. We've already said our predictions, we cannot change them. And it looks as though Red Bull, but I can't say at the moment, but 5th and 7th seem to be where roughly they were last time around Monza. So a track that's got a lot of straights and a lot of low-speed corners, do you reckon it'll be the same here, Aaron? Or do you reckon that they've finally found out what that issue is that they've been having with the car, and they can go for it once again here in Baku?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. They've managed to have a bit of a turnaround. A break in between weekends as well might have given them a bit of time to kind of breathe and see what they can do. They had to do something. They've got 2 circuits that are going to be very difficult for them, and it seems to be working right now. Where will it look for them in the race? I don't quite know. We had Norris having an issue, which is why maybe their lap time later on wasn't as quick as it could have been, but I don't think they would have been really setting too much of a competitive lap time with the tyres that they had on the car, to be honest. So, yeah, that is the session done, and it looks very interesting. I'm very excited. I would have to say, I didn't expect to say that, to be honest, this weekend, because Azerbaijan, although it has been a crazy circuit in the past, in recent times not so much. We've got Max Verstappen, or one of the Red Bulls at least, pushing it very close to the limits in the castle section. But we're going to end it there. We'll be back at 1 PM for the qualifying session for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's going to be a good one. Do not miss it. We'll see you there. Bye-bye. Have a good one.